Chapter 4. He wanted Suanan to replace Suzihan and go to the Gu family. Suanan! Just as Suanan walked through the gates of the Su family, he heard Suzihan's angry voice. Soon after, Suzihan slapped her face. Suanan noticed with her sharp eyes and immediately took a step to the side to avoid the slap. You dare to dodge! Seeing that Suanan was not hit by her attack, Suzihan bellowed. Was it her, Suanan's, stupidity for her to not dodge standing there and be beaten up by Suzihan? Suanan looked at Suzihan in disdain and raised her eyebrows at her. Suzihan was 2 years older than her, the product of her father's adultery. When she was 1 year old, her mother found out that Suhua had raised little San and her daughter outside. A few years ago, my mother was exhausted all over for the Sus, so after giving birth to her, she became even worse. This was all because of Suhua. She was so sick, and not long after, she left the Suanan with her sisters, and left. Suanan looked at Suzihan with disdain. When she wanted to go in, Suzihan grabbed her hand. You painted my clothes. Yesterday, when she went to attend a banquet, Suzihan was wearing her newly bought white dress. After arriving at the banquet, she thought that she would be able to shock everyone present, but she didn't expect to be teased by others during the banquet. The red pigment was imprinted on her buttocks. It wasn't very large, but it was very obvious. Yes. Suanan admitted it. How could she blame her? Who told Suzihan to like pretending to be a white lotus, pretend to be pure, and buy a bunch of white dresses? Hearing Suanan admitting it, Suzihan became even more furious. Just as she was about to attack again, her sharp eyes caught a glimpse of the red mark on Suanan's clothes that was hidden under the collar. Suanan's body, from her neck to her chest, had been marked with the marks he had left behind on her. Truly shameless, Suzihan said disdainfully. Suanan, you're only 20 years old, yet you have no shame at all. It was not that she, Suzihan, was not willing to marry Gumo Cheng. It was only that Suhua and the others had ideas about her that forced her to sleep with him. Just like your big sister, both of you are shameless bitches. Suzihan looked at Suanan and mocked. Hearing Suzihan call her big sister, Suanan's expression also turned cold. She calmly said, Say it again. Suzihan's and Suanan's voices drew Suhua's attention from the living room. Suanan was used to being bullied by her stepmother and daughter. Suzihan thought that she was easy to bully, but seeing the coldness in Suanan's eyes, she couldn't help but shiver and gulp down her saliva. Just say it. Suanan, you are the same as your elder sister. You are both shameless bitches. As soon as Suzihan finished speaking, her face was slapped hard and fast by Suanan. Suanan moved fast, but Suzihan was not on guard, so this slap landed solidly on Suzihan's face. Suzihan had been spoiled by Madame Su and Suhua since she was young. Now that she was beaten up by Suanan, and even hit by the Suanan she loathed the most, the anger burning in her chest became even stronger. She was furious and shouted, Suanan, you little slut, how dare you hit me? When the slap came over, Suanan nimbly walked a few steps to the side, then quickly went into the living room. She was often beaten and scolded by Suzihan, so she learnt how to dodge more and more. Daddy! In the living room, Suhua did not come out after hearing the commotion. He was holding a newspaper and taking an apple that Madame Su had peeled. Seeing Suanan coming in, he raised his head and looked up.